The State of the Nation address on Thursday by the President lasted around 100 minutes and covered many areas. The speech focused quite heavily on the economic optimism of the day, the infrastructure promises, the restoring of investor confidence, the president painting a picture of a country that's turned a corner. But one of the issues which the Centre for Environmental Rights found to be glaringly omitted was the issue of climate change, which one might assume would be given a priority given the extreme weather and climate conditions we've had and experienced in this country over the last while, from drought to dams running dry in some regions, to severe floods in other provinces. The president mentioned that catastrophic floods in Limpopo and Mpumalanga, which claimed 45 lives. Widespread destruction to home schools and clinics. But I'm joined now by Brandon Abdinor, who's a senior climate advocacy lawyer at the Centre for Environmental Rights. Brandon, really appreciate your time. So the president mentions floods as catastrophic, but doesn't explicitly connect adverse weather to climate change in his State of the Nation address. Why do you think this is so?
Good morning, Lester, and good morning to the listeners. Thanks for having me on. I'm not entirely sure why it is so. He mentioned the floods, as you say, and then spoke about the all-important disaster management priorities that need to fall into place, but didn't link it to climate change explicitly. We know from scientific evaluation that climate change is making rainfall 40% more intense in that region. And we're asking why, because the last three states of the nation have really sort of prioritized climate change. I think the catastrophic floods in KZN in 2022 were a bit of a catalyst for that. Globally, we're seeing some pullback from climate action, particularly in the United States, and that sort of gives permission, I guess, to engage less sort of importantly with the issue. But we do think it's an opportunity missed in terms of the floods and in other places in the SONA.
There was a point in the speech that actually made me pause. It was when he said that mining and critical minerals are a sunrise industry. He mentioned our ore reserves valued at 40 trillion rand. But this is the same president who has signed up for accords when it comes to the responsible and sustainable and carbon neutral extraction and exploitation of resources. Is South Africa talking from two sides of the same mouth now, at the same time signing the international accords, but at the same time saying we're going to drill baby drill or dig baby dig to extract the 40 trillion rands worth of ore underneath our feet?
Yes, it does look like they're talking on both sides. I know these issues are complex. There are many different interests and many different balancing acts. But, sort of unsustainable mining does not really fit in with the kind of social and environmental stewardship that we need at this point in time. Similarly, we're seeing, notwithstanding the SONA, we're seeing a lot of climate commitments. We're seeing cooperation with climate finance providers, and a lot of saying the right thing. But then we're also seeing something that looks like dilution of our climate ambition. Our Paris Agreement targets submitted in October last year were far weaker than they should have been. We're seeing moves within Cabinet to suspend or get rid of our carbon tax, which is an essential tool for mitigation management. So, yes, we're certainly getting mixed messages.
Is this a case of, wasn't too long ago, as you said, that South Africa was signing the accords when it comes to our ambitious climate targets? But then since the advent of this government of national unity 18 months ago, we've had two environment ministers, Dion George and Alvile Okampu. I have heard and have spoken to saying that, yes, conservation and the protection of natural ecosystems and general livelihoods and clean air for people is definitely important. But we are going to exploit our natural resources if it comes to job creation. Have you seen a noticeable shift in an economic strategy of this broader government, not just this current GNU administration? Since 18 months ago, we're going to target, we're going to try to be responsible, but at the end of the day, it's jobs is the bottom line.
Yes, I think there's certainly been a shift in the rhetoric and the narrative. I'm not sure whether at the deepest level the intentions are any different to what they have been, but again, I think at least more apparent sort of commitment was being made to the responsible side of things. And we understand, I mean, in a country with this level of poverty, inequality and unemployment, we do need to do the best we can with the economy we have. And this is, I think, where it gets tricky because it's not really a binary, either be exploitative or have a good economy. A lot of modeling shows that we can do both. And climate response and the just transition that it can bring in is a tremendous opportunity for industrialization, for creating new value chains. People say that we need to be high carbon and carbon intensive to create jobs. We've been one of the most carbon intensive economies in the world, and yet we have the highest levels of inequality. So the just transition is an opportunity to mend and change these deeper ills and at the same time protect the life support system that we all rely on.
What would you want the president or the National Assembly and the NCOP? It starts 2 days of debate on the State of the Nation address. The president gives his response. What would you want some of the responses, the reactions to be from NPs, and for the president to respond on Thursday with responding to the critiques and saying that he's not connecting what are climate-related weather patterns, whether it be droughts in the Western Cape or floods in Mpumalanga, that they are connected and a result of climate change?
I guess these debates are now an opportunity to join those dots, to put the issues adequately on the table. I think we need to, without scaremongering, just keep the risks firmly on the table so that we do the necessary adaptation, so that we do the necessary greenhouse gas reduction, and also highlight the opportunities, the industrialization. We have a renewables energy master plan, which has been carefully worked through, which looks at what sort of jobs and industries we can create, and also the kind of social ills that can be addressed through the appropriate actions. For example, I mean, we live with an air pollution crisis in the Mpumalanga Highveld. It's the same sources as those causing the global warming. So commitment and then follow up with action.
Brandon Abdinor, really appreciate your time. Senior Climate Advocacy Lawyer at the Center for Environmental Rights.